What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another incredible tutorial. And in this tutorial, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a method to move the camera around to follow the guy around as he moves around our map. So check this out. See how this guy is just chilling here in the bottom left corner? Well, once he starts moving, he's going to go off the map, and if we don't make a method to have the camera follow him, we're not going to be able to see what's going on. He's going to be wandering around his own little world, and we're going to be stuck looking at this bottom left corner. So we don't want that, so we better code a method to fix it. So let's go ahead and make a method, not self, that's a tidbit better. Set center of screen, and just go ahead and pass in dude dot position because the center of the camera is going to be based on where he is pretty much. Alright, so now that we have that, we actually better go ahead and actually make this method. So it's just going to go ahead and return void, and let me just go ahead and copy this, copy and paste that, and set center of screen, looks good. And the parameters for this, the dude position is actually a CG point, and just go ahead and name it position. Looks like a good header. And now what we want to do, the first thing we want to do is determine the size of our camera, and in this case it's pretty much the size of our iPhone screen. So in order to return the size of your iPhone screen, here's what you need to do: CG size, screen size, and set this equal to this CC director shared director, just like that, and win size, and this is going to return the size of your iPhone screen. So typically 480 by 320, but if you have a status bar, I think it's going to be like 460 by 320. But anyways, here's what we want to do. Now the size is stored in the variable screen size. So what we basically want to do is we want to set the center of the camera equal to wherever the dude is standing. So our dude always appears in the center of the screen. However, we're gonna have some exceptions to this rule. For example, right now, you see how he's on the edge of the map right here? Well, if we have the center of the camera on him, then part of the map, or excuse me, part of the camera is going to be showing black because it's off the map. Let me show you guys an example. If we center the camera right here, see how he's pretty much in the center of the screen right here? Well, over here and over here would show black because there's no map. So what we need to do is we say, alright, typically we want to set the center of the camera over where he is, but in some cases we don't. So that's what we're going to be coding, and that's why we just can't, write a method that says put center of the camera equals dude position, because when he's along the edge of the map, we can't have that. So in order to do this, here's what we need to do. Let me give myself some space. The first thing we want to figure out is which is greater, the dude's position or the center of the screen. So let's go ahead and make an x and y, and if you want to get the maximum of two things, there's a function called max, and put position dot x or screen size dot width, because x is left and right, divide by 2. Simple enough. So now we can do same thing for y. Int y, and set this equal to the maximum position dot y screen size dot height, in this case, over 2. So what this is going to do is say, alright, what is greater? Either where he is standing, or, and this is pretty much going to return the width. Half the width is going to return 160, and half the height is going to return 240 in most cases. So that pretty much says, alright, if he's too far off to the left, just use 160. If he's too far down, just use 240 instead. Simple enough. So that makes sure that the camera isn't showing make sure it's showing all of the map and no black thing to the side. So now what we want to do is, this is pretty much for one side, but now we need to do the opposite side of it. So we need to find This pretty much finds the maximum location of where it can have a point, and now we need to find the minimum because, of course, we need to find not only the bottom left but also top right. Make sense? So now what we want to do is set x equal to this minimum of x. We can use the position we already have, or the map and map size width, and we need to times this by the map dot tile size dot width. And now what we need to do is subtract screen size divided by 2. Alright, that looks good. So here is how you get the entire width of the map. Your map is made up of however many tiles you put it, in this case 50. And each tile size has a width, in this case 32 by 32. So this is, and I don't want equals right there. And this is going to be how many tiles times the size of each tile minus the screen size. So this is going to get the opposite edge of the map. So now with that long thing, y equals minimum, we can use the old y, or what we can do is the map size the height times the map dot tile size dot height, spell it right, height, come on us, and then minus screen size and height divided by 2. I know that looked weird because you need to do screen size dot width over 2. Before, it would have given me an error message. So now that we have the proper x and y coordinates, let's just go ahead and set that to a value named like good point or something like this. So CG point, and name this good point, and make this equal to CCP x and y. So now you're saying, alright, now all we need to do is take the camera and set it equal to this good point, because this is the ideal point where we want the camera to go. And you are semi-correct, but check this out. Moving the camera in Cocos2D is possible, but it's a little trickier than you might think, and things kind of get fuzzy whenever you try to move the camera around. So what it's going to be easier to do is actually, instead of moving the camera where the layer needs to go, it's going to be easier to take the entire background layer and move it, slide it where we want to show. Trust me, I mean, the coding is going to look a little funny, but it's a lot easier than moving the camera. So the first thing we need to do is get the center of our iPhone screen. So CG points in center of screen, looks like a good variable, and set this equal to CCP, and of course we're just setting this equal to the center of our screen. So screen size dot width divided by 2, and screen size dot height divided by 2. Simple enough. So now what we want to do is say this. We want to find the difference of the center of our screen to the ideal point, and that is, you know, the difference in how far we have to move the camera. So there's a really easy method for subtracting one point from another point. So CG point, and name this difference, not deference, difference, and set this equal to this CCP sub. What this does is it takes 2 points that we're about to pass it in, and it subtracts the value from it. So let's go ahead for the first one, put center of screen, which is our iPhone screen, and for the second one, go ahead and put good point, which is the ideal point of where we want the camera to be. So now all we have to do is move the layer that much. So our layer's name is self.position, and what we want to set it equal to is difference. So now it's going to move our entire layer however much it needs to be moved. Instead of moving the camera itself, it slides the layer into the camera's view. That's what I want to say. That was I was trying to get out. So now, if we go ahead and build this, it's going to look the same, but we can go ahead and build it and check for errors anyways. Oh yeah, I already forgot I had it running. And we get one error message, and I'll show you guys what that is. And of course, our do doesn't move yet, but we have no errors, which means this is good to go. So now, in the next tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to move them around, and you'll see that the camera moves with them. So now when we move them around, again, there's no method to do this yet. I'm going to be teaching you that next. But when we do, the camera's going to move with them. Pretty cool, huh? So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out my next tutorial where everything is going to come together, I promise. So anyways, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.